All right, thanks again, guys, for the fill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. PYT single case break number 9. Here we go. This is actually our like 25th case of Prizm already, or 20. See how many? 9 and 10, 19, and Luke did 5 already. So yeah, it's our like 24th, 25th case. So thank you for that. We will be breaking Premier League Prizm all week long. So I just, I'm about to post 2 more, by the way. In case you guys are interested, I will be posting 2 more of these shortly. Hey, right. Thank you, man. To keep you awake, Mrs. Sai tells you you can keep 1 card. Ooh. That's a tough one. Do I consider value or not? Yeah, because obviously if I have to consider value, then I guess, you know, I'd have to go for like the most valuable card, but I can tell you hands down my favorite card is that probably Eminence 1 of 1 dual auto of Baggio and Rossi. That's the one card that I really don't think I'll ever sell. But I have cards that would sell for a lot more. Yeah, because those have dropped quite a bit in value. I mean, I've got the other one that I really like, but just I had a hard time. I came close to selling it a few times. Is I have a Ronaldinho out of Immaculate that just is a match-worn patch with the 3-star, like with 3 of the Brazil stars on it. That's another card that I really, really love. And I have like 1 of 1 Messi's, Ronaldo, stuff like that, but those are more like investment type cards. No, I mean I have some Pulisic stuff that I like, but nothing like that. Honestly, Pete Hines, like I was at Nationals once and I had a bunch of my Pulisic stuff there, and he just made me an offer I couldn't refuse at the time, and so I have still a decent amount of Pulisic stuff, but nothing like that would be worth crazy money. So how about you guys? What's your favorite product of this year? Or in the last year, I should say. I mean, this year's only been a couple months, but your favorite product released this last cycle here. Yeah, well, Sam, I should. My son, actually, he's always making these short films and stuff, and he's been bugging me to do that too. I think that would be nice someday. How long have you been doing cards, Ray? Have you been collecting for a long time? I used to collect when when I was a kid, I did football cards. I wish I would have held on to them, but you know. Then I kind of lost it, and then around the man, I wish I would have like gotten more into it, because I got into it right at the time when you know, like 1995, 90, well, it was like 97, 98 I got into it. And then even in the early 2000s I was into it, but then, you know, stuff happened. I remember my dad got sick and I just had too much going on. And it was right around when it was like Kobe's rookie year, and so like I have a bunch of cards from the year before, but or a couple years before, like from, I was pretty into it like when Shaq was a rookie, and then the year like Jason Kidd and remember Grant Hill and those guys were rookies, and then Glenn Robinson came up. Anyway, I kind of lost interest or time at the wrong time, because that Kobe year would have been awesome. Yeah, I really love Futera too. Futera is like, you know, Futera's been around longer than any of these as far as football goes. You know, the only downside to Futera is it's not licensed. You know, if you can get past that, I really think it's good value, and it's all match worn stuff. So it depends on what you're looking for. But the quality of the autos is always problematic with them, because their checklist for autos usually isn't that good. You know? But as long as you're talking about the gold cards and the patch cards, yeah, they're amazing. I always say if like Leaf and Futera got together and you take the autos that Leaf gets and the cards that Futera produces, they could make an insane product that could kick Panini's and Topps butts. But unfortunately, they don't. I'm trying to get them together because I know the ownership of both companies, and I'm like, you guys really need to put your heads together and come up with something, because they could literally imagine like if Futera like all of a sudden had all these autos like Leaf Metal does, and then combined it with the jerseys that they have. I mean, I know it would be sticker, but still, it would be just like unreal. I know Leaf tries to do it, but Leaf is nowhere close to Futera when it comes to quality of cards. Yep. Kyle Walker Peters. Ayu. Yeah, you know, you have to, Michael. Yeah, if you have Kobe stuff, you have to grade them. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, in the current market, it would just, yeah, you're just losing too much money by not grading them. Viv Anderson, even if they don't grade that great, you know, but still, you know, the upside is just huge. Oh, awesome, Ray. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like during a lot of the people that, you know, currently are breaking all kind of came around during COVID, because we were on and a lot, and we got a lot of new breakers joining us. Who was that, by the way? That was Viv Anderson for Arsenal. We got Cornette and Kyle Walker Peters. Yeah, I really love that it's growing in Europe so much too. I'm definitely going to be coming over there at least once or twice a year. Bailey to 149. Adarabioyo. Right now, almost like, I'd say not quite half. I mean, say about 40% of our business is in Europe. So that's a huge amount. I mean, that's almost half. Bruno Caicedo. I mean, it's primarily UK, but still, even outside, you know, the rest of Europe is picking up too. Raya. Reed. You know, the problem, Michael, is that right now we do not have, and we're working on it, and it's just been difficult. We do not have a Topps UK account yet. 58 of 175. Ings. Kevin De Bruyne. So hopefully, if that comes through, then we would definitely be doing that. But yeah, we had some difficulty. I mean, obviously it was just establishing a location in Europe, and then it seems like it's really hard getting accounts with over there. You got to really know the right. Anyway, it seems like there's a lot of nepotism going on over there. But hopefully that won't be the case. We'll be able to get in there and get you guys product. Vienna, yeah. I mean, actually, I probably have had maybe 5 or 6 breakers from Vienna over the years. Not a huge amount. It's fair, you know. Obviously, Austria is just growing, but I mean, Germany's growing a lot. So I would think, you know, we'll get more in Austria too. But you know, the German breakers have been steadily. There's been. I mean, it's not a huge number, but there are some real dedicated German breakers. Jolinton. But it is definitely growing, and I'll definitely be doing shows in Germany. So I'm friends with Helge, who runs all the German shows, and he's going to be doing the show with us in London as well. So hopefully through that we'll be getting more involved over there. Yeah, that's how a lot of people were, right? I mean, they just didn't know this was a thing. And honestly, when it comes to football or soccer, it really wasn't a thing until 2014. I mean, Futera was the only one, and Futera was kind of like really, you know, a very small, kind of like had a very small dedicated following. But World Cup Prizm 2014 is really what changed everything. Ben Rahma. That's really what kind of catapulted the soccer card market. And then they're like, wait a minute, we really have something here. We really need to explore this more. And but it's fun. It's a real fun. It's a fun hobby. You just got to be careful with the, you know, with the financial aspect of it, because it can get a little, breaking in general can get a little addicting, and as long as you do it in moderation and do it for fun. And for most people, it's fine. I just hate seeing people that, you know, end up spending a lot of money and not getting their money back in value, but you know, it's just part of the what makes it, I guess, enticing. Martinez and Azpilicueta. Billy Gilmore to 175. Dean Henderson. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. I mean, I was addicted to breaking myself. When I first found out about it, it was like probably 2012, 2013. And I was like, dude, I was hooked, man. I was hooked. And that's why I can understand people. And then you go on tilt, and I was like buying stuff, and then you don't hit, and then I would buy more. And next thing I know, I was like, holy shit, I spent like, you know, crazy amounts of money. And I was like, all right, I need to chill. This is getting out of hand. Because it can be so darn addicting. You know? But over the years, I kind of balanced it and figured it out. And then I'm like, you know, this is pretty cool. I should give this a try, because not that many people were doing it for soccer. And I was like, you know, when I started breaking soccer, it was more just because nobody else was doing it. And I wanted to break it. So I was like, all right, well, let me do it. And all I was trying to do was I'd get some, you know, I wasn't really making any money at it. I was just getting free teams. So I'd buy a case and I'd sell, you know, we'd do like drafts, and it was like 8-spot drafts. So usually I'd sell 7 spots and I'd keep a spot. And usually I'd, you know, get the spot for close to free. Sometimes it cost me a little bit, but not very much. And so that's how I kind of built the cards that I had, was just by breaking. And I just ended up with a whole bunch of cards out of those breaks. And then next thing you know, people were like, well, I was doing them on eBay, and people were like, well, what else do you got? And I'm like, well, that's it. They're like, well, you know, and then we started an email group. There were maybe like about 50 of us in the email group. And I would get a case, and I'd email the 50 people, and people would email me back right away, and I'd write down the teams. And we started doing, you know, prices by teams, and then I'd send out a second email. These teams all sold. So we do like 3 or 4 emails, and then the thing would be sold out. And then I'd get on and break it. Yeah, exactly, Scottis. Norgard and Rashford. And yeah, so then what really blew us up though was the Facebook group. Once I went on Facebook, because I really wasn't much of a social media guy at all. I mean, I had Facebook, but I barely used it. You know, and then once we did the Facebook group, we didn't even have a website. Everything was through the Facebook group. So I posted on the Facebook group, and then we went from like about 100 people on the email list, and I just forgot about the email list. And then we ended up with like 400 or 500 people in the Facebook group, but they were like pretty active. So then I'd post a break on the Facebook group, and people would grab their teams. Literally, it was like a mad rush to enter your team name. Lanzini to 99. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then, you know, I remember when I first did the website, I was nervous. I was like, is this going to work? How's, you know, everybody's used to doing it on Facebook. But sure enough, thank God, because there's no way I could do this on Facebook anymore. Yeah, Ray, absolutely. You got to be careful because, like I said, it's addicting and it can be expensive. And, you know, I hate to say it, but it obviously has an element of gambling to it, in that you're buying something and you're not sure what you're going to get, you know. So that's where you just got to be careful and just do it in moderation. Boom diddy. Wilfried Zaha. To 175. Da Silva to 199. Instant Impact Billing. Nketiah. Sam Greenwood, rookie. It's also amazing that there's just a sports aspect to it. Like, you know, going to London, going to the matches, going to the games, you know, so that's always fun. It's just great to, as a business, I mean, I couldn't have picked something that I enjoyed doing more, honestly. It's pretty much a combination of everything I just did for fun anyway, you know. The hours can be a little bit long, and it's amazing now that I've got, you know, Austin and Luke on board. It definitely helps out a lot because I can actually have a life. To 149, Kovacic. Yeah, because during COVID, we were all stuck inside. There really wasn't much to do anyway, but literally that was like breaking, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, like 6 days a week. Casemiro. Azpilicueta. Yeah, actually, we were just talking about that. I have a 1/1 Baggio and Rossi out of Eminence. That's like my personal favorite. And then I have a couple of 1/1 Ronaldo, Messi cards out of Eminence. Those are kind of my... I don't know if I'd ever get... I don't know. I always have a tough time go back and forth whether I should, you know, sell cards or keep cards, but there's a certain few that I tend to just hold on to, and then the rest I just kind of alternate. I do make deals, though. We do make trades with guys that, you know, have higher end cards. And let's see what I do. I need more top loaders. Yeah, that's why it's fun. I mean, I was always into breaking, but I've been going to the shows a lot more. Like Luke especially, he's a lot more involved in doing shows, and he's more of a collector, I guess, than I, lately at least. So just going to the shows, there's constantly people coming up to the tables and, you know, trying to make trades and trying to give you cards. So that part of it I really hadn't done a whole lot of, but I've been doing it a lot more the last couple of years, and it's fun. Nick Pope, Fireworks, Jacob Ramsey. Tyler Adams to 99. Almiron. Yeah, definitely in the UK, the card show thing is becoming, like 3-4 years ago, there were no card shows in the UK. And in the last year, it seems like, you know, there's been a lot going on. Marquinhos. They seem to pop up every, you know, 2 or 3 months. Kyle Walker-Peters to 175. Ndidi. Mo, they're looking good, but not for me for tonight, just because I need to get some sleep. And then tomorrow is my wife's birthday, so we have dinner reservations. We're going out, so I'm not going to be back on until Monday. So it's looking for the 10 and 11, unless Austin doesn't have them too. Yeah, Austin would do them Monday anyway, so neither one of us are going to be on tomorrow. The only ones that are likely that will go today are 6 and 7 on the UK side, Mo. I don't know if you've done any of the UK breaks, but your cards will get shipped to me by the UK people. So the only cards they don't ship are UK and Europe. They hold on to those. Obviously the UK they ship for free within the UK anyway. But if you join any of the UK ones, they will just ship your cards to me on Monday, and I usually get them by Thursday. McAllister. Kaleidoscope, Jared Bowen. In the summer you have one? Oh, nice. In the Netherlands. Nice, nice. Yeah, actually, speaking of 10-11, you just reminded me of something here. Where'd it go? There's 12. Okay, I know. I'm gonna also do. I'll be posting 12 and 13 momentarily, guys. 12 and 13. Morgan Gibbs White and Ben Chilwell, and then between me and Austin, we'll be breaking all week. So I will be posting more as well. Guedes to 49. Ebiowe. Anthony Gordon. Hey Wax, what's going on? Recommend going to shows when you are relatively new to the hobby. But when you say going to the shows, I mean, the fun part is just going as a buyer, right? And just walk around, and you can take some cards with you that you're interested in, you know, selling or trading. And sometimes, you know, depending on what you have, there might be someone interested. But yeah, like I wouldn't set up as a table if that's what you mean quite yet. But if you're new, I would just, yeah, absolutely. The best way you learn is just to go to these shows. And, you know, now it's different because everything, there's so much information available online. And so as far as pricing goes, you just have to kind of know what, you know, you just have to be aware of the value of cards, you know. And but that's, I mean, I'm not really good with singles values myself. I mean, plus they change so much. So that's what the internet's for, right? They have like different websites that show you, you know, what cards are worth. Guiata. Yeah, thanks, Wax. Yeah, I mean, it is. That's how, I mean, it's technology, right? It's evolved. I mean, I know a lot of times, you know, the hobby places or, you know, say that breakers are, you know, killing the hobby stores, but it's not really breakers. It's really the internet more than anything. And the hobby stores will always have a spot, but impact, it's just the, like, I mean, I don't think we're so much directly impacting the hobby stores, more so places like, you know, Blowout and Dave and Adams, and, you know, it's just Amazon, everything. It's just the way it is nowadays. Everything's so convenient. But as a breaking, I mean, hobby stores that are smart are all breaking themselves because it's just a good way to get people involved. Most people can't afford to pay, you know, $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 for a case or a box of cards, the way crazy prices are right now. But, you know, they can afford to pay $100 or $50 to buy their team. Boom diddy. Makalele. So it just makes it more affordable. Hey Aziz, what's up, brother? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just, there's just no way. I mean, imagine like Eminence. I mean, who can buy a box of Eminence? It's impossible. I mean, how can you really do Eminence other than breaking it, you know? But even, you know, products like this, okay, it's like, you know, $260, $270 a box, whatever it costs now. Okay, maybe somebody can afford to buy a box, but when you're talking about a case, it's like a, you know, $3,000 plus case. And, you know, to get involved in a full case for your team, you know, you're going to end up with a hell of a lot more cards, spending, you know, 70, 80 bucks and joining, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 breaks versus just buying one box and hoping for the best. Christie, 3 of 15. Yeah, and obviously there's an element of chance and gambling to it, but it averages out, right? I mean, if you're, either way, I mean, especially like something like Eminence, if you're buying like a player consistently, eventually you're going to end up with a certain number of cards for that player. And whatever it costs is, you know, going to be a fraction of what it would have cost to try to buy a box. Yeah, and it depends on what you want, right? Some people just, you know, parasic. Some people want certain things. For example, you buy a box for $260, $70. You do have a chance to hit, you know, I don't know, a Holland auto or a, you know, or a Beckham auto or the top hits. However, by buying, you know, 50 bucks for, you know, whatever, you pay 70, 50 bucks for Brentford or $40 for Brentford, you're obviously not going to get those big hits. But if you're a Brentford fan, you know, you could buy into 7 or 8 breaks and you'll get a crap load of cards for your collection. So there, it's, you know, positives and negatives. But for most people that break, and those who break smartly, they know the odds. They literally, there are some people that actually make a living breaking. Not many, but those that know what they're doing. They literally, because, you know, we're human too. When we price these breaks, it's all, I mean, I basically sit down, I put the checklist, I try to say, okay, I need to get $3,000 out of this case. All right, there's like 30 teams, so the average price is like 100 bucks. Then you have to kind of figure out, okay, like for this product, what are we going to charge for Holland? I don't know. Is it going to be 200? Is it going to be 1,000? So we came up with 500. I don't know. That's, you know, was the best guess, and it seems to be what people are kind of following and doing. But the point of that is the guys that break regularly and really know what they're doing, they study that and they know the odds, and they actually a lot of times do a better job than we do. So they know that, hey, 500 bucks for, you know, Holland is actually a really good deal, or vice versa. No, that's too much. That's not a good deal. So if it's not a good deal, they don't buy it. If it's a good deal, they buy it. Doesn't matter who the player is, but and if they're smart about it, they do quite well. Botman. Because at the end it's all averages and math, right? It just kind of comes down to, you know, unless you're the unluckiest person in the world, if you buy enough into a certain break, you're going to hit a certain amount of cards. Willock. Stroik. Yeah, honestly, the base spot, if you have the time, is probably the best value. Like, if you have the time to sit down and make the sets, and like I know in the Revolution, like it was $100 for the base slot, and that was like would sell like that because you could just sell the top 3 or 4 or 5 rookies, and you'd already get your money back and be a little bit ahead, and then all the rest of the cards are just bonuses. But it depends. It depends on the product too. Like World Cup Prizm base sold amazing. Oh no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, no, it is absolutely about trust because you have, you know. I mean, yeah, there's no way. I mean, and I gotta say, for the most part, I gotta say, there's very, I mean, 99% of the breakers out there are trustworthy. There's a very small percentage that aren't, and honestly, they'd be stupid because you know nothing's worth your reputation, and yeah, but unfortunately, it's a very small percentage that screw things up for everybody. But absolutely, yeah, if you don't trust, you should not be doing business with. Yeah, exactly. There's. Yeah, no, like that's whatnot that like you know whatnot worries me a little bit from that perspective, because it's like such a free for all. When I say breakers, I mean established breakers, and that's why you have to trust. You know, if you're like an established business like myself or like any you know like any of the established like Blaze or like you know it's you know I think honestly you have nothing to worry about there. But having said that, you know, anybody with a computer and two boxes can get on Whatnot and start doing breaks. And sure, yeah, there's like so much. I mean, you won't last very long, but yeah, you could definitely hickey. You could, if you're dishonest, there's lots of ways to rip people off in this industry, unfortunately. Yeah, no, and you don't last very long. I mean, the thing is that it's such a small community, and there's so much right now, and especially with the internet and the information. I mean, you might be able to get away with, you know, cheating a few people, but you know, within very quickly, uh, your gig's gonna be up quite quick. Caicedo, Moreno. Ben Rahma to 149. And Kelly. Dominic. Suchek. Mitchell. Lingard. Colwell to 175. Lanzini. Nikolenko. Ayu. Boom diddy. Jared Bowen. $10.99. Hey Matt, anything are driving these eminence prices out of control? I think a lot of time. Yeah, Matt. I mean, honestly, I kind of called eminence really wrong because when it first came out, I was recommending to everybody to dump them to the dealers and everything, and I did not, because I was just comparing it to the last eminence, and it was only 10 cards. But honestly, what's driving it is messy. You know, in particular, I think most of eminence is driven by the Asian market. Salisu, because eminence rises and falls with the Asian market. There's so much demand for it in the Asian market, and they're willing to pay, you know, I mean, I know all the dealers here that are buying the cases are just turning around and selling them to Asia. Because, you know, when it first came out, it was at like $10,000, $11,000 a box, and you know, we were breaking them at like 13 grand, and then by the time I finished breaking that first day, you couldn't get it for like under, like literally people were like, hey, can you do more? And I was like, I can't even get it for under like 16, 17,000. And then next thing you know, you couldn't get it for under 21,000. Yeah, but people, it doesn't, I mean, it's all supply and demand, right? It's a very hard product to get. There's not that many cases of it floating around, and people in Asia are willing to pay $23,000, $24,000, $25,000 a case. So, I mean, literally, there are people here, you know, offering to buy it at like 21, 22, because they know they can just turn around and sell it to Asia for like 24, make a quick couple $1,000. And, you know, as long as that's the case, you know, that's how it will be. And, you know, there's a website, it's called DealerNet, where all the dealers go on, which is basically what determines the sales on the wholesale level, because there's buys and there's sells on that. And, you know, it's basically like the stock market. You get on, I look at it every Monday, Tuesday, I check all the different products. Okay, it went up this week, it went down this week. And obviously I try to figure out, you know, like where do I need to be into a certain product in order for it to be profitable. And I'll tell you right now on Eminence, we're like right at the edge, because the margins on Eminence are like, usually most products, the margins are 15, 20%. On Eminence, they're less than 5%. But, you know, 5% of $22,000 is like $1,000. So it's just a matter of, you know, keeping the distributor happy by buying it. You're making a very small percentage, but usually on the higher value stuff, you're only going to make a small percentage anyway, because, you know, on a $100 product, you might make 20 bucks, but on a $10,000 product, you're not going to make the same percentage. Yeah, no, there's usually, Matt, there's a correlation, but sometimes there isn't. And by a correlation, I mean the prices of singles to the prices of cases and boxes. Because it's two different markets. Now, they do cross over, but like last 2018 Eminence, for example. 2018 Eminence, nobody's selling it for under like 70, 80 grand. Now, there's no way in hell you're going to open that and get, you know, 70, 80 grand worth of cards unless you had that one-on-one case, which we already hit. But it's just a matter of there's so few cases out there, and there's so many people that want it that it drives up the price. The same thing with the current Eminence. You know, there's so few cases available for purchase, and there's so many people that are willing to buy it that it artificially raises the price. Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at other sports are insane. Like basketball comes out, and you know the margins on like Prizm basketball are like 500% when it first comes out. It's insane. but you only get like, I only get like 2 boxes or 3 boxes because I don't do that much basketball. But for those people that do a lot of basketball, it's crazy. But you get a certain limited amount. You only get, you know, so you have to buy like all this product to get 1 or 2 cases where you're going to make a lot of money on. And then after that, it's just whatever the market is. Yeah, the high end, I agree. The high end soccer is totally driven by, you know, I'd say like 75-80% driven by the Asian market. The high end, this stuff, no, this stuff is different. But the higher end stuff, absolutely. The Silva. But honestly, from our perspective as breakers, I mean, I generally tend to do better when the products are cheaper. Like Leaf Metal is the perfect example. Like Leaf Metal was way overpriced when it first came out, and it dropped by almost half. And because we can get it at a price there now, it's reasonable, and now it makes sense. We can do, you know, an unlimited number of cases as long as they're available. And I think like this product could be a very good product too. If the price drops like, you know, another 20-25%, where we can drop everything down like 20-25% across the board, I think it would do quite well, because it's a, you know, it's a decent product, and it's all about, you know, price point. Yeah, and also when it's pricey, like everybody's willing to pay. And the thing that I hate is that they penalize you for doing well. That I never quite understood that, and it still bothers me, but it is what it is. So, for example, NT was dead. I started buying 10 cases at a time of NT, and we kind of revived it, and it was so reasonable. It was great price point. We were flying through it. But then as soon as, you know, they see that you're buying a lot of it, they keep bumping the price on you. And then I have to come back and be like, okay, and I hate to raise prices, but the question is, do I just stop breaking it, or do I raise prices? And I try a few, and that's kind of what they do. They, you know, if you buy a lot, they raise the prices on you. If you don't buy a lot, they drop the prices. So in a way, you're penalized for buying a lot. But it's very product specific too. Like on a product like this, there's just so much of it out there that you'll be able to get it at a reasonable price. Yeah, honestly, like the distributors are tough, man. Like sometimes I'll buy the distributor price is like the same. Sometimes I even have distributor prices that are higher than goal. Holy crap. Golazo, golazo, golazo. 4 of 10. Darwin Nunez. Boom diddy. That'll wake us up. Tanner Lloyd. Insane. Congrats, man. That is so sick. That's a monster. Is that you, Tanner? Is that Tanner? Oh, why that's not you, or that is you? I was like, is that Tanner? Yeah, I'm going to put this in there, and I'm going to put his name on it because I don't want to risk that getting missorted. Tanner Lloyd. big hits. I don't want to risk that. Especially on those teams where they have it. It always freaks me out that they're going to like put a card like that with like Liverpool others or something. And but actually my sorter is really good, so. Congrats. That's a big money card. These numbered cards are the big, especially the gold. Jadon Sancho, Christian Eriksen, boom diddy, Coutinho, Aston Villa. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, we have a system and it, you know, and it works, so. Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces to it. I mean, it started off, it was all me. I did the breaks, I did the sorting, I did the shipping. Now there's like 8 of us all together, so. Morgan Gibbs White, yeah, 4 here with me and 2 in Atlanta with Austin and 2 in the UK with Luke. So Nick Pope, yeah, I gave you exactly, that's right. Yeah, the wall of base and the. Yeah, I need it because, like, you can imagine in the old house, I lived in a relatively small, much smaller house, and yeah, I mean, you can imagine there was like cards everywhere. When you walked in the door, you literally could not move. But it was during COVID, so everybody was on lockdown anyway, so it didn't really matter as much, but. Oh no, the base slot's actually right here. Yeah, you can see here. Let me show you the base slot. There's like a bunch of base right there. That's my break room right here. That's the wall of base. Casemiro to 175. And then I have a garage. We have a 4-car garage, and 2 cars are for the parking. The other 2 are the shipping area for the business. And then I do have a spare bedroom that I use for like the higher end stuff and putting together repacks and stuff like that. Caicedo and Ndidi. Oh, I'm sure there is full sets, man, Aziz. It's just a matter of, yeah, getting through it. Ben Rahma to 199. Yeah, it's just so time consuming. That's why I tend to donate a lot of it. 90% of it I donate. But even that, it got to like, I have too much. I can't even, you know, people come and for the schools and the kids. My wife's sister's a teacher, so I gave her like tens of thousands, and she would use them as rewards for her students and stuff like that. Eric Dyer. But it's generally like the lower end base cards. The high, like the World Cup Prizm, they all sold. But it's just time consuming. If you have the time to sit down, and that's why the base slots do so well. If you have the time to go through it and separate it and make sets and sell the rookies, then, you know, it can, you can do all right. Ebiowe. Yes, Frederick. I think the next Tuesday sounds good. Yeah, I'm getting a couple more cases. So I am getting a little bit more Futera. I did ship a case to Austin. So Austin has, when I say a case, it's 3 cases. So Austin will have 3 cases to break. I have another 5 mini cases coming, 1 case and 2 mini cases. So between the 2 of us, we should have 8, and 2 are up. So we should be able to, we're going to do like 6 more after that. Guehi, 14 of 99. Sorry, got a little sidetrack there. McKenna. But yeah, Tuesday sounds good. Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. If you send an email, Frederick, just in the email mention, please ship my cards after Futera break number whatever, you know. And then that way they'll hold your cards and they will not ship until Futera break number whatever you mention is in the package. So that is one way to make sure for now. So if you join Futera 70, just in your email put ship my cards after Futera break 70. Yeah, no worries if you want to wait more. Yeah, and shipping is, it's honestly with UPS, it's such an easy process. I mean, most people ship like once a month or so, and it is so quick and easy. It's just, you know, when you're breaking that much, it's such a small factor cost-wise. Paul Merson. Because literally, like, a UPS package costs anywhere from like $40 to $100 at most. And by $100, you could break for like 4 or 5 months, and your stuff would ship for like $100, and you get it like 2 days later. It's just, honestly, for those that ship regularly, there's no other way to do it. Rashford to 149. Yes, Aziz, you know, not for people that break a lot, you know, but for, yes, because you can send a regular package for like $15, whereas UPS will cost $40, but you can put a lot more in the $40 package. So the UPS package for $40 is up to 2 pounds. It depends on to where, like to the Middle East. I mean, I ship packages. It just depends on the country. Some countries are more expensive. It's cheaper for me to ship to Dubai than it is to ship to Spain. So it's kind of, it just depends on how the shipping structure for UPS. But yeah, I mean, the cheapest UPS starts with is like $40, and only for certain countries. $40 to $45 is the minimum, but the minimum is like a decent amount of cards. It's not like just a small package. To 175, Christensen. Lewis Cook. Yeah, Frederick, I almost always do. And again, that's something you just put in the... I'd say 7, like for you, for sure, you're going to get it in a Futera box even if you don't ask, because that's what I use to ship. That's what I use to package my cards for shipping for those that have a lot. So in your case, you would get it in a Futera box anyway. But, and likely the amount of cards you have, probably multiple Futera boxes. But just to be sure, again, put it in your email when you're asking for shipping and say, can you please ship my cards? And please use Futera storage boxes when you ship. of course, that only makes sense if you have a lot of cards, because the Futera storing boxes are quite big. And, you know, if you only have that much cards and you ask me to ship in a Futera box, it's going to cost you like 2-3 times as much shipping. But if you have the amount of cards that you have, it's not going to make any difference. And in fact, like I said, I use it because it's so good for packaging, and it's so safe. It just keeps the cards perfectly safe when they ship. You don't have to worry about them getting damaged. Yeah, it's actually, they just made the perfect thing for storage. All right, give me one sec, guys. I gotta move these base cards out of the way. But yeah, I literally have probably about, you know, I've done, last time we did like 100 cases of Futera. This time we've done like 60 something. I probably have close to 100 cases of Futera that I just, that's like the best thing for me for shipping. So that's why I always save them, because I use them for shipping. Here we go, guys. Sorry about that. To make some room here, so. Oh, what are you talking about? Yeah, because we don't. I usually don't do promo code. You mean the buy two get 10% back thing, Aziz, or what? Because yeah, I don't do Futera promo codes for Futera, but we do that. Buy two teams get a 10% gift card back once I start to do it. Yeah, usually what I do is once I post it up on the screen, but let me see where it's at. Yeah, but you're welcome to do that if you want at this point. Yeah, because usually what I do is when I go live, I put all the Futera teams available over there, and then I say, okay, buy two, get a 10% gift card. That way we're trying to fill it up, and usually I wait until we get to that point. What's the next break in Futera? Yeah, I can't break it tonight, but that's fine. If there's two teams you want to grab in 69, just, yeah, that's fine. Grab it, and I can shoot you a 10% gift card. Bentancur and Sarmiento. Ben Rahma to 99. Danny Ings. Oh, you know what? I keep forgetting. What the heck am I doing? I totally forgot. Products. Customers. Products. All products. EPL HB. There we go. Okay. Didn't I just do this? Sorry guys, I had to post something and I think I messed it up. I am going to post the next two EPL Prizm breaks momentarily, guys. Sorry, I totally forgot. We started talking and I forgot about that. Oh, that's right. You're trying to get the base cards or what? It's Luis Diaz, Ollie Watkins. All right, give me a minute here, guys. The next two will be up if you guys are interested. Let me do this now before I forget. All right, 12 and 13 are up now, guys. So if you want them, they are available. And there is number 12 right there, if anybody is interested. All right, here we go. Boom diddy. Nice one there. Ashley Cole, Chelsea. All right, XJ. Good luck, man. There you go. Llorente, and Fireworks Suchek. Diop to 25. Sarmiento. Sancho. Rico Henry to 175. Julian Alvarez. Leon Bailey to 149. Raya. Norgard. Pope. To 149, Longstaff. There. Ndidi. Tarkowski. All right, here we go. Boom shakalaka. Goal. Frankie Lampard. Boom diddy. Loving it. Who's got Frankie? Andy. There you go, Andy Hully. Congrats, man. That is sexy, sexy, sexy. Hey, Jamie, what's up, brother? Hit anything nice in Prizm. Last case, case hit was a David Beckham auto. That was nice, but honestly, this has probably been our best hit of the night. Gold Darwin Nunez to 10. That's probably worth way more than a Beckham autograph, I would imagine. you guys really want, let me see. Holland and Beckham spots, yeah. Yeah, get them now, XJ, because you know honestly the cases have been tend to be very front loaded. I get the feeling in a couple weeks it's going to get much harder to hit Holland and Beckham, whereas now literally every other case where it seems like we're hitting Holland or Beckham. And usually what they do is like the opening day cases always look really good, and then you know later on it gets much more difficult to hit the big names. Yeah, so we have about another 10 cases or so to go, and then I'm going to have to reorder. I don't know. I don't know on the reorder if those will still be opening day cases for the distributors or not, but yeah, I always like to order as much as I could for opening day just because, I mean, Panini will deny it, but I don't know, man. After 8 years of doing this, it's like, it seems pretty obvious that the cases that come out first are always, because they, it's obvious. They want it to look good. They want the product to look good. They want everybody to get excited about it. So if they put out crappy products at the beginning, nobody's going to like the product. Ooh, we got another gold. Another gold. Good luck, guys. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Oh, and it's a rookie gold. Boom diddy. Keen Lewis Potter for Brentford. There you go. Brentford rookie gold. You never know if that guy turns out all right. XJ. There you go, brother. I think that was one of those last teams you grabbed there. Thank you, brother. 7 of 10 gold. Wow, which that reminds me. Hold on. I just remembered something. Hold on 1 second, man. Gift cards. I don't think I ever orders XJ. Yeah, sorry XJ, I totally forgot to send you your gift card. Just realized that. Yeah, I said if someone buys those 3 teams, I would send them a $30 gift card. So, anyway, I know it's not much, but hey, every little bit helps. All right, there we go. Oh, groovy. Groovy, groovy. Here we go. Hold on, here we go. Boom diddy. Joe Gelhart. Hey, Sai, pulled that Saka signed jersey. Matt, yeah, I mean, literally, I honestly bought 10 Saka jerseys just like a couple weeks ago from my supplier. But, yeah, message. Have I shipped it to you already? Or is it still here? Yeah, honestly, right now, I'm a little bit have a little bit crazy stock on jerseys, but yeah, shoot me a reminder. Yeah, I buy a lot of jerseys. I usually buy them in bulk, so. Yeah, to get the bulk price, you have to buy at least 100 jerseys at a time. So luckily they at least let me mix and match, because usually they want you to buy 100 of the same player, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. But they'll let me do like 10 players, 10 each. Yeah, that's why actually, because I just literally got 10 Saka jerseys and 10 Garnacho jerseys in like a couple weeks ago. So that's why I was doing Saka and Garnacho, and I still have plenty of Pele's, so I just wanted to make it attractive. To 199, Bentancur. Mo Salah. Luis Diaz. Smith Rowe. How many are left, and what time is it? I'm just gonna kick my ass, but let's see. 4:30. Oh my goodness. All right, better speed it up here. We're having too much fun. To 99, Armstrong, and then instant impact, Erling Haaland. Yeah, sorry guys. If it sells out, I would do it, but it's just going to take too much time to try to set up a filler and all that stuff for Dynasty. Let's see, where is it at? Dynasty. Darn it, why am I? Oh, there it is. It's way up top. 5 left. Yep, 5. Russell, Bottas, Vettel, Stroll, and Latifi. To 99. Wow, if you pull a dual card, it will be allocated to the highest paid spot. Okay, so on top. Billy Gilmore. I don't realize he does it that way. Ndidi and Bazunu. Patterson to 99. Van Dijk. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Kai Havertz. Speaking of jerseys, guys, I am going to do a jersey repack product here pretty soon. It's going to be about $2.95 a spot. Boom diddy shaka. Sol Campbell, there we go. Sol Campbell spot finally came through. So that'll be a fun little... it'll be similar to the Leaf jersey product. 6 jersey case. And it should be a lot of fun. Garnacho. Kulusevski. To 175, Lerma. Cody, guys, this is going to be my last break. If you do want to get in on another EPL Prizm break that'll happen today, a little bit later today, it's a UK break. So just keep in mind, let me move that up for you guys here. Move that up in this store so you guys see it's up there up top. There it is, guys. And prices have been lowered to match the prices on the US side. And also, if you're UK and you buy into those breaks, you get your shipping for free within the UK. You just have to request it from UK postage at soccerbreakersfc.com. Raya, Fractal, Allison. And also, if you're US, you get free shipping as usual. Luke will be shipping those out on Monday over to me. I'll get them on Thursday. It'll just be part of the following week's shipping. Boom diddy, we got the snake skin. Ooh, I like that. It's I was gonna say Chelsea, but it's Leeds. It's Leeds. Good luck. How about Jack Harrison snake skin for Leeds? If you guys are in the UK and watching and you want to get in, get a little free shipping out of it as well, there you go. Strong. Greenwood to 175. Malasia. Zaka. To 199, Bobby Firmino, Bruno Fernandes. There's 4 of us here in San Diego, XJ, and then Austin and Shane in Atlanta, so that's 6, and then Luke and Luke's spouse Megan helps do our shipping out there, so I guess technically 8. We got 8 people, although as far as full-time, myself, I consider Austin full-time, you know, like 3 full-time, I guess, 3 or 4 full-time. The rest are part-time as needed. Like, yeah, 4 full-time, 4 part-time. It will be. Yeah, so thank God I have a lot more time to, like, you know, actually have a life, because like I said, before Austin like joined and helped out and Luke, you know, I had no yeah, imagine everything like Austin and Luke are breaking, I would have to break McAllister, so it just was a lot of work. I'm gonna get Alex a little bit more involved with the breaks as well. Yeah, I was. Shoot, I was on for 17 hours myself. Yeah, honestly, this took a lot longer to break than I didn't think it would take this long, but it's a long break. Yeah, no, it's not. Austin's just a little bit faster than me, but I mean, there's no fast way to break this product. I mean, it's just a very long, you know. Okay, okay. Guess what? Guess what I just saw? This could be our case hit, and I like that color if it is. Could be our case hit. We got the right team. Who's got Holland? John Cass. Good luck, John. Goal! Golazo, golazo, golazo. Boom diddy shaka. There you go, John. That's XJ in the future breaks. Boom diddy. Bum 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 bum. I'm telling you, we hit a lot of Hollands. We've been pulling a lot of Hollands, which is great. I need to preserve it. That's right. Gotta keep them hands hot. I'll have to just, I was just thinking for the next few days, XJ, I might just have to wear gloves until your break comes up. So that way they'll stay nice and warm until it's time for your break. I don't want to accidentally go out and get them all cold before breaks what is it? 11 and 12, 12 and 13, 12 and 13, right? Patterson, Lingard. Keep them nice and toasty. Damsgaard, Reed, Potence, Gibbs White, Grealish to 199, Madison, Paqueta to 149. Barnes, Armstrong, Gibbs White to 170, 175. Darwin Nunez. The other Darwin Nunez, instant impact. Great to 99. Barnes. Ryan Yates. Ramsdale. Ryan Yates, Odegaard, all right, let me move these out. finish off these last few packs. Alright, here we go. To 175, Hickey, Lorente. Really? Is that yeah, I mean, they just come in spurts, unfortunately. I don't know. People have been saying about that, about Tottenham. I mean, on the list, there's tons of Tottenham, but we don't seem to be hitting that much Tottenham. Yeah, like the Tottenham other spot should be getting a lot of cards. Or as much as any other team, I should say, at least. Boom, did he? Nice. Skulls. Yeah, Chelsea hasn't been hitting a lot either. All right, Chelsea. It just seems like, honestly, like Brentford and Brighton, like Brentford hits a crap load. I don't know if it just me, but it just seems like every time I looking up, it's a Brentford hit. Forest hits a lot too. I've noticed a lot of Forest cards. Oh, yeah, see Brentford, there's Forest. But I mean, if you look at the checklist, I think there's similar number of players. In fact, like the big teams have more players. Yeah, I mean Liverpool hits a lot, but they're broken down so much. I did post the Leaf Metal also, guys. Metal 10 is active. I did post the Leaf Metal. Next time when I get on, we'll do our little promo thing once we get a certain number of teams sold. Kevin De Bruyne. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine, XJ. Your guess is as good as mine. I would think they would, yeah, because it's a different, I don't think so. Actually, when you think about it, no, because Breakaway and Choice have different parallels, right? So all the parallels for Hobby are in Hobby. It's not, there's no crossover. Gray and Foden. The only difference will be that on the Groovies and on the Groovies and on the Color Blast and stuff like that, sometimes, you know, it's easier to get them in Breakaway. Sometimes they'll, like, I don't know if the Groovy is going to be a Hobby exclusive, but the Color Blast usually is easier to hit in Breakaway. And I don't know if it's going to be the same again this year. Campbell to 99. And Palace. I'd be curious out of, like, because we hit 60 numbered cards, right? So on average, there should be 3 per team if everybody has the same amount. So on average, there should be 3 numbered cards per team per case. 20 teams, 60 cards, so... Jolinton and Lavia. Yeah, no Badger stadiums. That's right. They got rid of that. That was a shame because they Goal. Boom Saka Laka. There we go. Right at the end. Saka saved by the bell. Who's got Saka? Emmanuel Franklin. There you go, Emmanuel. Congrats. Sick, sick, sick. It's one of the nicest groovies, too. Groovy, baby. We'll put this groovy in front of the other groovy because that's groovier. You got double groovy. Purple, Brentford again. I'm telling you, Brentford to 49. Sure, if we count how many Brentford hits we hit, it's going to be more than 3. Leicester, Nacho, and Ward, Danny Ward. I'll check when, I'll go look at when, after the sort, it'll be easier to tell what's what. Longstaff to 149. Instant Impact, Vardy. We can do a little count when we do the recap here momentarily. Kieran, he said he was going to get on early afternoon UK time, so like 2 o'clock or so, 2, 3 o'clock. So what is it now there? It's like 1, so in like an hour or 2, I would guess. Where's the cards here? Yeah, that's not going to be on my, it'll be on, it'll be a separate stream from the UK. Luke should be on in a couple of hours here. Were they trying to talk about this? Were they trying to talk about that, was they? Huh, that's weird. I don't know what I was thinking there. Alright, there's that. Let me do this one here. Okay, the base slot is David Garcia again. Thank you, David. I owe you a lot of base cards. Oh, thank you. Here. Yeah, he will post on he should post in the Facebook group when he's going live. Been on 8 hours again tonight. All right, recap. Foden, De Bruyne, Pulisic, Alexander-Arnold, Holland, Diaz, De Bruyne, Diaz, Aronson, Sancho, Holland, that's Mahrez, De Bruyne, and Bruno. Alright, here, let's keep a count of this. I'm just curious to see if we hit any. There's Ben Mee, any Tottenhams. There's Longstaff, Campbell, Tyler Adams, Gibbs White, Everton, Gray, Hickey, Paqueta, Grealish, Sanchez, Greenwood, Firmino, Lerma. There's Jesus. There's Patterson, Armstrong, Bentancur, Thomas, Azpilicueta, Longstaff, Henry, Aston Villa Bailey for Fulham, Diop, that's to 25. So I'm going blind here. Kamara, Ben Rahma, Christensen, Rashford, Guehi, Ben Rahma, Casemiro, Fabinho, Nacho, Da Silva, Gordon, Fabinho, Mitrovic, Colwell, Ben Rahma again, Hickey, Stroik, those guys in a minute. Watkins, there's a Christie, that's to 15. De Gea, Van Dijk, Guedes, Tyler Adams, Walker Peters, Alexander Arnold, there's Kovacic, Da Silva, Alexander Arnold, Lanzini, Kearney, Gilmore, Diop, Bailey, Ings, Fabinho, Fred. Alright, so that's it. Let's see. So see, we had one Tottenham card. Just to give you an idea, one Tottenham. I kept track of a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards for Leeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards for Brentford. I'm telling you, Brentford hits a lot. I don't know what it is about Brentford, but 6 cards for Brentford. And that doesn't even include the gold that's up on the wall. I forgot about that. Make that 7 cards for Brentford, including the gold. So we also hit a... Oh, let's do the autos. Merson, Coutinho, Bowen, Makelele. You did get a Jan Vertonghen auto, though, in that spot, at least. Jan Vertonghen autograph for Tottenham others. Zaha and Viv Anderson. Then going up to the wall, we had Garnacho. And obviously the one we showed to 10, Lewis Potter for Brentford. Julian Alvarez, Silver Prizm. Then autos, we had a Scholes. We had a Cole, numbered to 99. Had a Sol Campbell. Groovy, we had a Gelhardt for Leeds. We did have a Snakeskin Jack Harrison for Leeds. So Leeds did well. And you had like 5 numbered cards. Leeds does well in this product. Then we had a Lampard, Groovy Saka. We had a Erling Haaland autograph. And we had a gold. We had actually a cup. Instant Impact regular insert, but Darwin Nunez, 4 of 10 gold. That's a monster. That goes to Tanner. Congrats, Tanner, on that one. And congrats. Congrats to, who was it, John? Man City, Holland, John Cass. Congrats to John as well. Alright guys, that's all she wrote for me for tonight. I need to get some sleep because today is my wifey's birthday and taking her out for a fancy dinner tonight. And anyway, so there will be no breaks for me tonight. I will be back on tomorrow. We'll do Eminence. We'll do more EPL Prizm and whatever else we can fill. Alright guys, peace out. Yeah, that was... Usually Forest hits a lot, Andreas, but that one was a rough one. Forest usually is one of those teams that does hit well, but unfortunately that wasn't one of the better breaks for Forest. Thank you, XJ. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you to all of you guys. Really appreciate it.